Bad news to report, unfortunately, and the Rabbi Bluestein is not going to be able to be here tonight. He had a conflict, but he did send his twin brother, the Rebbe, who is here to do the menorah lighting. Let's see if the Rebbe is. There he is now.
Thank you. I mean, to the rabbi said he's very sorry he could not be here tonight. But he said that he wanted me to come into Israel. Came in there. This is a very long flight. I have a number of my own material. Can you see my own material?
It's not loud enough.
What did you happen to me on the way to show? Can you make all? That's how Dallas getting set up. It reminds me of a story. I was on my way, and I heard this story about this policeman who came over to the woman. He says to the woman, "You're driving too slow." She's driving in the left lane. She's driving 30 miles an hour. She's driving very slow. The policeman feels the need to pull her over and says, "You almost caused 6 accidents back there. I had to pull you over." So then, what happens is she says, "Listen, I don't know what you're talking about. I was driving. It says the sign says 30 miles an hour. I was doing 30 miles an hour." He says, "Lady, that's not 30 miles an hour. You're on Route 30. You're on Route 30, driving 30 miles an hour in the left lane." She says, "Oh, I am very sorry." But then the police officer goes in the back seat, sees these 3 women going like this. I don't know. What's with the women in the back seat? What's with the women in the back seat? I do not know. The police officer says, "Did you just get off Route 55 or 95 or 106? Much worse." Give me a ice for hot dog. It's a tough room, but it's going to get easier. Warm them up for you. Guys, I warm them up for you. What crowd? Can you imagine what the light on Shabbos? Can you imagine what the light on Shabbos?
Yeah, Blackout!
Blackout is here. Blackout is in the house. They're rocking, they're hopping, they're politically incorrect. We got Rebecca Reimer on the drums. Raphael Reimer. He smiles as the lead vocals and keyboards. And rocking out on the electric guitar, Charlie Fiumano. And without further ado, Blackout. news is I can guarantee you this is at least a $12 show. That's $2 back in your pocket in these troubling times. I still keep in touch with a lot of my friends from yeshiva. In fact, I know one guy who really from now, became a really from guy. Until recently, he wouldn't even have a computer because he was afraid of going on the internet. And then recently, he got himself a computer. He called me up, my friend Shlomi. He called me up and he said, I don't know what the big deal was about. I got the computer. I went on the Google. I looked up schmutz. There was nothing. I looked up preachers. Nothing. Then I looked up non-sneers, one thing. Still not a big deal. You can actually find a lot of interesting things on the internet. The other day I came across a social networking site for Saudi women. It's called Veilbook. My beautiful wife Jody is here tonight. We've been married 22 years almost. Many of them happy. And we have 3 kids. Or as I like to call those 3 kids, tech support. Because kids have the ability to make you feel very foolish. When I'm trying to program the DVR, they're making nuclear centrifuges in the rooms. And the problem with 3 kids though, when you have 3 kids, they will sooner or later realize that they outnumber you. And it only gets worse from there. 3 kids, 2 parents. I told them recently, I think we might have to get rid of the cable TV. And my son, whose favorite movie is The Godfather and Scarface, he came over to me and he said, do you want to make my associates and I think you might want to rethink that decision. You want anything ugly to happen, Daddy-o. I wake up in the morning, the steering wheel for my car is in my bed next to me. My IRA has been hacked and transferred to a Swiss bank account. And my littlest one takes out his Nerf guns and says, say hello to my little friend.
I went to the doctor and the doctor told me that I had the body of a 30-year-old. I keep him in the freezer. You know, my doctor told me to add a little bit more citrus to my diet. And he said it'll help with my vitamin C. So now I drink the beer with the lime. So, let me ask you something. Does this microphone make you look fat? Is that anybody think? No? We all right? We good? So, it's interesting because actually people don't know this, but my weight is perfect if I were 8'7". I actually started a new weight loss routine not so long ago. It involves changing my shampoo. I think I started to gain weight when I used the shampoo with extra body. So my current diet is actually similar to Atkins. I don't know if anybody knows what Atkins is, but Atkins is all about eating the meats and the fats. But what I do is I eat the proteins and all the fats. I kind of move them to the left side of my plate, and that's what I eat. And then I eat everything else, and I refer to my diet as Fatkins. Actually, many years ago, when, I don't know if you know Dean Ornish, he had an interesting diet also. It was all about grains and fruits and vegetables. And then you had Atkins, who was all about proteins and meats. And so I think Ornish and Atkins had a debate years ago when they were both still alive. And Atkins killed Ornish, and then he ate him. Truth is, I recently went on a crash diet. I stopped heavy drinking and heavy eating, and in 14 days, I lost about 2 weeks. And I have a friend who joined Overeaters Anonymous. I don't really get that. I think by the 3rd meeting, you're probably not so anonymous anymore. You know what I mean? People start to recognize you. But my problem is that I'm lazy, right? And my wife can attest to this. I am lazy. Thank you. I'd raise my hand all the way, but I'm still lazy. I won't do that. You know, it's kind of funny that I'm lazy, because you can't get a body like this with hard work. Right? I mean, I don't know if you've tried, but you can't do it. So the problem with being lazy is it's really not my fault. because I was born with a lazy eye, and when I got older, it spread to my whole body.
AJ, I met this really nice guy.
So I'm making
He was a parole officer. I figured with him, I was guaranteed 10 to 15 years.
Okay,
And for my birthday, he bought me an ankle bracelet. But I couldn't stand that constant beeping. Are you the parole officer? So I tried this other dating service. It's called Saw You at Sinai. Tova, Jonathan. But the guys, they were really old. My last name was Moses. So finally, I decided to try this dating service called Broomstone. Any of you hear of that? I knew you looked familiar. So this is a true story. I went out with this guy, the rabbi. He took me to this really nice restaurant, and then he took me to this romantic park, and he asked me a question. Rabbi, you still here? Are you Shomanigia? You know what that means, right? I took one look at him and I said, I just started. It's true. So my mom, his mom, my mom, come up here. My mom's optimistic that I'll meet the right guy. Like the other day, she called me up. She said, Rena, I had a dream. You met the perfect guy. This is the last day. The perfect guy. He's cute. He's smart. He makes a good living. So I said, Mom, go back to sleep and get his phone number. Thank you.